God is to love all, serve all. మనం అందరినీ ప్రేమించాలి, అందరినీ సేవించాలి. మనం సేవించడం కోసమని పుట్టాము. ఈ సర్వీస్ లో మనం ప్రయాణమైనప్పుడే మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది సార్థకమవుతుంది. ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా, ది బెస్ట్ వే టు లవ్ గాడ్ ఈజ్ టు లవ్ ఆల్, సర్వ్ ఆల్. మనం అందరినీ ప్రేమించాలి, అందరినీ సేవించాలి. మనం సేవించడం కోసమని పుట్టాము. ఈ సర్వీసులో మనం ప్రయాణమైనప్పుడే మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది సార్థకమవుతుంది.
Time.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా, ది బెస్ట్ వే టు లవ్ గాడ్ ఈజ్ టు లవ్ ఆల్ సర్వ్ ఆల్. మనం అందరినీ ప్రేమించాలి, అందరినీ సేవించాలి. మనం సేవించడం కోసమని పుట్టాము. ఈ సర్వీసులో మనం ప్రయాణమైనప్పుడే మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది సార్థకమవుతుంది. ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా, ది బెస్ట్ వే టు లవ్ గాడ్ ఈజ్ టు లవ్ ఆల్ సర్వ్ ఆల్. మనం అందరినీ ప్రేమించాలి, అందరినీ సేవించాలి. మనం సేవించడం కోసమని పుట్టాము. ఈ సర్వీసులో మనం ప్రయాణమైనప్పుడే మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది సార్థకమవుతుంది.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at Bhagawan's lotus feet. And a very warm welcome to each one of you present here to today's study circle titled Life is a Challenge, Meet It. Let's begin today's session with 3 Omkarams. Saira. Sri Sathya Sai Baba's teachings are a beacon of light, guiding us through the ever-changing tides of life. Among his many profound messages, one stands a call to action. Life is a challenge, meet it. But how do we truly meet life's challenges? How do we stay anchored in the present, free from the anxieties of the past and future? With the blessings of Bhagawan, Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organisations Delhi-NCR brings to you a special monthly study circle. Life is a challenge, meet it. This series is not just about understanding a philosophy, but is about embracing a way of life. Through discussions, reflections, and real-life experiences shared by our esteemed speakers, we will explore practical ways to cultivate awareness, inner strength, and surrender to the divine will. In this centenary year of our beloved Swami, this series is a humble offering, an opportunity for all of us to deepen our sadhana of living in the present. Each episode, held on the 23rd of every month until the 23rd of October, these 9 episodes will take us one step closer to transforming challenges into stepping stones for spiritual growth. And as we embark on this journey together, we invite you all to be a part of this conversation. Engage with us, ask questions, and share your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube and Facebook. The links to our social media handles are provided in the YouTube comment section for easy access, and your reflections and insights will enrich this dialogue and make it even more meaningful. So let us embark on this sacred journey together with open hearts and a firm resolve. We begin today's session with 2 esteemed speakers, the All India President of Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organisations, Sri Nimish Gulabrai Pandyaji, and the State President, Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organisations, Delhi-NCR, Sri LVM Kishorji. With immense love and happiness, I'm privileged to introduce Sri Nimish Gulabrai Pandyaji, popularly known across the globe as Nimish Bhai. Professionally, he is a practicing advocate of the High Court of Mumbai. He heads the law firms of Pandya & Co. and holds expertise in corporate law and real estate law. He is also the chairman of Pandya & Juris LLP, an international law firm specializing in taxation and media laws. He is the All India President of Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organisations, one of the largest spiritual service organizations in the world. A prolific speaker on any given topic and a dramatist par excellence, he has directed several value-based ballets and dramas with children and youth, focusing on the value education and character formation. It is also my privilege to introduce Sri LVM Kishorji, an alumnus of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning with a BE and MBA. A distinguished supply chain professional, he currently serves as Vice President, Supply Chain at the Times of India Group. Deeply committed to Seva, he has been actively involved with Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organisations, Delhi-NCR, for 15 years and currently serves as the State President. He has led key initiatives including Parti Seva, Parti Yatras, youth programs, and a Sunday service activities at Sri Sathya Sai International Center. Passionate about education, he has lectured on supply chain management at Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning and mentors students through the Life is a Game, Play It program. A true leader in both his professional and spiritual journey, he exemplifies Bhagawan's teachings through his service and dedication. With his deep commitment to professional excellence and selfless service, he truly embodies the values of love, duty, and seva taught by Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. The moderator of today's event, Brother Vikas Bagri, is an alumnus of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Puttaparthi, and currently serves with the Government of India. After completing his MBA from Puttaparthi, he began his career with the National Knowledge Commission, an advisory body to the Prime Minister of India, and has since contributed to several prestigious institutions, including the Prime Minister's Office as an advisor, the National Innovation Council, and the MIT Media Labs. An entrepreneur at heart, he co-founded Positive Kids, a venture dedicated to spreading positivity, inspiration, and Bhagwan's message of human values through thoughtfully designed products and gifts. So I now hand it over to Brother Vikas Bagri to take it forward from here.
Thank you, Sister Sadhyapriya. Thank you so much. A warm welcome to our speakers and to our online audience. Loving Sai Ram to all of you. We are living today in a time when most of us are juggling with just too many things. Our attention spans on one hand are reducing, our to-do list is expanding, and the number of distractions, thanks to this little phone we have in our hand and otherwise in life, the number of distractions are just increasing in life. And as a result, we are unable to enjoy whatever we are doing in the moment. A lot of times we're either in the past or dreaming about the future, and we let the current moment pass. A 1-year-old today is jumping towards phone screens. Students are stressed about exams and careers. Working people are rarely able to find work-life balance, and elders are worrying about their family's future. How do we, in these circumstances, enjoy life? And isn't enjoying life really about enjoying every moment of life? Let's go deeper into this theme and learn from our esteemed speakers today and engage with our learned audience online and see how we can do more to enjoy every moment in life. Sairam Nimish sir, I'd like to start this conversation with you. What does it mean to you to be living in the present? And why do you think this practice is really important for all of us today?
It's very important to understand this because as we have learned with Bhagwan's message, that life is a very beautiful event. From birth to death, the time is definitely specific. And every moment is a precious moment. If we do not dwell in the present, every second of your life, which is meant to give you happiness and joy, or for you to dwell in your innate nature of happiness and joy, gets lost because you are not integrated in your thought, word, and deed and in your mind at that given moment. As you rightly said, the greatest challenge for man today is that though the physical body is in one place, the mind runs in every other direction, and we're not able to bring the mind back into focus. And as we understand from Bhagawan's message, that the mind has to be controlled. If man is not able to master his mind and he becomes subjugated to his mind and its vagaries, then you are a rudderless ship. And then really you can't navigate yourself the way you should. Therefore, I think the key lies in ensuring that every moment is used very well. I mean, it's an asset. It's the greatest asset human being has, of enjoying and living every moment. You can't lose it. Okay, so you do your best. Like with every rupee, with every penny, you want to do your best. With every moment, otherwise in life, you want to do your best. Your personal life and your personal time is very important, because time is God, God is time, and time waste is life waste is what we must understand in the first instance. That probably is a route where you can really focus yourself on your given moment.
Sure, sure. Brother Elvin Kishore, what is your take on this topic, and how do you really practice living in the present?
Yeah, Sairam to everybody, and thanks Vikas and sir also. See, for me, as we were preparing for this program today, I was just researching on what all things have happened and how do we talk about living in the present. It's quite a philosophical subject, if I may say so, and काफी मुश्किल वाली subject भी है. And I think that's the reason why you've chosen it as a first edition in this whole series. मेरे लिए ये subject comes in actually 4 different letters, if I had to, or 4 different words, if I had to say so. It comes as letting go, mindfulness, acceptance, and gratitude. Somehow, as an engineer, we keep breaking up large problems into small ones. So I've broken up living in the present into 4 different words: letting go, mindfulness, acceptance, and gratitude. So what it means is that many a times as humans, we are all worried about the past, what happened, and also about the future, what will it hold for us in future. So letting go as a word means not being stuck in the past, no, or even not having a little bit anxiety about the future. Mindfulness, paying attention to what we are doing right now and being living in that. Acceptance, I feel, is one of the most important ones for the generation of today, because as elders or children or as students or whichever profession we are there, we are not able to accept the surroundings around us or the things that are happening in our lives. And that is only because the last word, gratitude, is absent. I think appreciating of what we have today rather than continuously chasing behind everything is what this generation is always, or even say, you can say, because you and me also are of the same generation, we are all have a challenge for it. So for me, living in the present is these 4 words. And these 4 words have helped me improve the focus, bringing life to various relationships that we have, whether in personal life or in professional life, reducing the stress that I feel, and also increasing the happiness. Yes, one point is that, like Swami says, is it continuously integrated awareness? The attempt is that, the goal is that is the final objective, but probably we are able to do it in short bits and short bursts of time. That is where I can describe as what is living in present for me in a much more simpler fashion, is what I can say, because.
Thank you, brother. Uncle, you spoke of the mind, and generally mind की एक tendency होती है, या तो past में रहता है या future में रहता है, or if we get hit by something, an emotion, a circumstance, etc. Sometime, it just doesn't come back in the present. And actually, because of that, we are having this global epidemic called depression and loneliness, and the whole all talk about mental health issues. So, ये mind की ऐसी property क्यों है? And what do we do to really, help? It might go, we might get hit by circumstances, there might be conditions, etc. But I think the real quality of the mind should be to get it back to the present as soon as possible.
Because the whole statement that you made, that the mind is running around here and there and we are not able to bring it back, I think let's understand the concept as we have learned from Bhagawan. Bhagawan has said that the only difference between or let me put the hindrance between the man realizing his innate peace and innate happiness with which he is born, he loses it because of the vagary of the mind. And what is really the mind? Bhagavan says mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. Okay? If the first thought and a series of thoughts creates a desire, a series of desires creates a mind, and the mind then rules. And the quality of the mind is always to get attracted to the outward images and impulses of the senses. Now, if you take all your 5 senses, they are the ones that bring in images into your system and create thoughts. These thoughts, when you dwell upon constantly, they turn into desire. And when desire becomes prominent, then the mind keeps you in that direction of the desire. So when you say, I want to bring my mind back, really speaking, the concept as explained by Bhagavan is to dissolve the mind. Dissolve the mind means Swami gives the example of the handkerchief. The handkerchief is cotton into threads, threads woven into cloth, and that's the mind. See, if you learn the art of dismantling the desires, dismantling the thoughts, then you'll find a situation that there is no mind. And that is a situation which is not passive. It is the most positive state of mind when you must believe, as Swami has told us, that the power to live life happily lies within and not outside. And this power to live life from the power which is within is blocked only by the mind. Therefore, the whole strategy, the life skill, the skill set which is involved in living life happily is to control the mind. Now, people say, I can't control my mind. Obviously, because if there is a desire, then there is an expectation. If there's an expectation, then there is a fulfillment of the expectation or a non-fulfillment of the expectation. And that's the root cause. Therefore, if you remember what Baba has told us, and that's what I believe, and over the last 4.5, 5 decades, the practice, not that I would claim success, but what has helped me to really start focusing is to see that you focus your mind on the given moment and the action that you're doing at the given moment. For example, if I'm a lawyer, as I was introduced, if I am now going to be reading a particular case at this moment, and while I'm reading the case, if my mind travels and my mind takes me that the image of the judge, what is he going to do tomorrow, or this judge is like that, and somebody has told me, no, that this judge is like that, and my mind goes in that direction, what I have missed is doing my duty at the given moment to read my case papers correctly. Now, you can take this analogy in every aspect of life. Maybe it's one of the sisters who's cooking in the kitchen. While she's cooking the vegetable on the fire, and if her mind goes that in my cupboard, that other sister had a lovely sari and I didn't get it and she got it, if the mind runs in that direction, then you have a vegetable which is burnt. Okay. Therefore, the whole spiritual exercise is nothing but focusing on the given moment. And just to conclude this point and to remind ourselves what Swami has said, the Swami has always said that the given moment is now. The past is already over. So the past is, if you carry the past to the given moment, and the given moment is not used ideally, the future, the next moment is going to get affected. Therefore, the investment of thought, word, and deed with integrity lies in the given moment and what you have to do. And therefore, if you remember in your childhood, you were told, play while you play, work while you work, do what you have to do at the right time. That was what our parents taught us or our teachers taught in the school. But that's exactly what we've forgotten. When we are playing, we are thinking of work. When you are working, we are thinking of playing. And that is the correction that is required. That is the parallax error between our mind and ourselves and the conscience, which has to be brought together in one point. So the conscience and the mind are always going to be at war. The skill set is listening to the conscience and conquering the mind. I think that practice which Swami told us is very important. Okay. For example, your children. Now, children are studying. You're saying you spoke about my sister, sort of initiated that this mobile is a big challenge. Obviously, the mind is stuck on the mobile. The child's conscience is telling him, he knows that this is not correct, but he has no power, no skill set to bring and say that this desire or this thought of the mobile should go away. Now, many parents have seen, they slap the child and take the mobile away. For 10 minutes, the kid will cry. But after that, he's become quiet because he's forgotten. The thought of the mobile is gone. Okay. This thought is important. What you keep in your mind as a thought at the given moment is really the trick of life.
So how do we really, having understood this theory now, how do we get into the practice from 2 points of view? One is, parents for their children. How can they start training them towards this practice? Because the early you get into, the earlier you make your mind your friend, the better. And for some of us, who are in the middle of our journeys or later or earlier, how do we now change tracks? What are these practices that you would recommend so we can start improving?
Yeah, because for the first thing is that when you talk of parents, I think the parents have to be role models first. You see, you can't have a father who's 24 hours on the mobile telling the kid, don't go there. You can't have a mother who's 24 hours on the mobile and chatting with all the friends to tell her daughter, don't do it. Okay? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Authenticity and integrity of the person who teaches, his personality is very important. And Swami has said, be, do, and tell. Otherwise, in fact, the bane of today's problem is that all of us preach without practicing. So that's the first correction society has to make and we have to make. So before Vikas speaks or Nimish speaks, we have to practice what we say. Otherwise, it doesn't work. At least make an attempt. Having said so, the question comes is, what is that skill set or what is that practice that is required to do this? First is being conscious, okay, that my time is my moment. I don't want to lose time because that's important. Because every second, as we deal today, today's this 7 to 8 session is never going to come back in my life. Okay,
Yeah.
so today all of us are focusing here. We are doing what we are supposed to do today. If while I'm talking to you or you are talking to me, if you start planning for the next episode just now, then you go to bungle up what you want to talk to me right now. Okay, and then the question people will say, oh, Vikas didn't do this, Vikas didn't do that. Now, Vikas also doesn't have the capacity to accept criticism. So then Vikas gets depressed that, no, I did all this, but somebody said I didn't do a good job. But you did because you were supposed to do something right at this moment. You didn't do it. You were thinking of something else. So you botched it up. Now, criticism is not something which you are willing to accept. Now, this criticism is something you don't forget. Therefore, the first thing I think what has helped me in my practice as a practice is that every moment of your life, you must endeavor to forget all the harm that others have done to you. And you must forget all the good that you've done to others. Because it's very important to keep the potency of the given moment in full aura and full strength. Okay? Because we are not ordinary beings. The power to excel lies within. And this power is constantly available to me. And the distraction is the mind. Therefore, I must focus myself on what I'm doing now with full attention and concentration. Okay. So anything that helps this practice is what one has to adopt. Okay. It could be meditation. It could be being conscious of what you are saying. It's by being conscious that I don't want my mind to go. Now, after all, it's a thought. Remove the thought, there is no mind. That's the trick that Swami has told us. Keep the thought out and then there is no mind. If the thought persists, you have a problem. Okay. I don't know whether I have a time to share one very small incident in the life of Shirdi Baba. There was a devotee. Do we have the time? So there was a devotee who was pressing Shirdi Baba's feet in the Dwarka Mai. And while he was pressing, he sees a lovely looking woman pass by. Okay. When he sees a lovely woman pass by, he gets attracted to her and feeling guilty, he starts pressing Baba's feet very strongly. But Baba realizes. He says, what happened? Why are you doing this? No, Baba, nothing. Then Baba tells him, it is the duty of the eyes to see beauty, but it is your choice whether to keep that thought in your mind or not. You can't stop the eyes from seeing what they are seeing. You can't stop the nose from smelling what it is smelling. You can't stop the tongue from tasting what it is tasting. But the impact that these senses bring into your mind, there your trick lies whether what to keep or what not to keep. I may get the sense of Rasgulla in my mind, but if I don't want to get desire bound, I must put the thought out because I'm going to talk to you just now. I can't have Rasgulla in my mind. And Swami has a lovely way to explain this. He says, you keep Rasgulla in your mind and keep on thinking Rasgulla. Then you no choice. It becomes a desire and your hand will go there, even if you don't want to eat because you're a diabetic, but you want to go and taste it a little bit also because you can't tell your mind no. Okay, you haven't had the strength or the skill set to shut yourself up. And therefore, you see many very determined people in history who have said, I won't do this, because they want to tell their mind that I will not do it. I am the boss, you are not the boss. Now, this skill set comes from various kinds of practices, because which each one has to adopt as it suits each one of us. Okay, somebody may suit meditation, somebody may like to read books and focus on the books on good thoughts, because keeping good thoughts in the mind, keeping positive thoughts in the mind, in fact, is a remedy for depression. There is no remedy for depression otherwise. You may have any kind of drugs. But teaching that person who's suffering in depression, with bombarding that person with positive thoughts, helping that person to be in an environment of positive thought is definitely a short way. That's what the psychiatrists do. They put you on the bed, they talk to you good things, because that's a trick of life. So that's how you must select a practice which suits you to see that you can control every thought in your mind.
Sure.
Because if I may just add on one or two small points, sir, as you were saying, one quotation comes to my mind. It says, what you do rings so loudly in my ears that I cannot hear what you say. आप जो करते हो इतनी जोर से मेरे कानों में गूंजता है कि आप जो कहते हो मुझे सुनाई नहीं पड़ता.
सही बात.
ताकि माने लोगों को जो हम करते हैं वो ज्यादा दिखता है, and they would tend to adopt it and see that as a more authentic one rather than what we talk and what we say. I think that's very true.
That's very important. और दूसरा क्या है एलवीएम, एक बात और लोगों को हम सबको याद रखनी चाहिए कि जो प्रेरणा है, जो एक ऊर्जा है, जिंदगी को सही मायने में, सही ढंग में जीने के लिए जो ऊर्जा है वो कहीं बाहर से नहीं आती,
बिल्कुल
ये जो है ये भीतर से आती है। इस बात को मानना बहुत जरूरी है। पहले जो इंसान इस बात को नहीं मानता उसका मन हमेशा बाहरी दुनिया में घूमता है, और बाहर की दुनिया में इसके लिए कोई साधन नहीं है। ये जो ताकत चाहिए, शराब को छोड़ना, सिगरेट को छोड़ना, किसी पे गुस्सा करना, इसको छोड़ना, ये जो क्षमता है, ये पूरी क्षमता इंसान के भीतर उसकी जो ऊर्जा है इससे ये प्रेरित होती है। लोगों को कहने से किसी ने शराब नहीं छोड़ी है, आदेश से या संदेश देने से कि शराब नहीं छोड़ी किसी ने। हाँ, जब अंदर से भीतर से जो एक ताकत आती है, जो अपने मन से कहती कि आज से मैं इस शराब को नहीं छूऊंगा, वो जो ताकत जो आती है ना, वो सर्वोपरि। और ये भीतर से ताकत को बार बार उसी को टैप करना, उसी को ध्यान में रख के जीवन जीना, शायद ये एक तरीका है जो हम सबको बचा सकता है।
Or maybe in a short we can say that is actually the living in present.
Correct. That exactly is living in present. Being conscious of the fact that मैं हूं और मेरे भीतर वो ताकत है, उसी ताकत को मुझे जीना है। और दूसरा कि हर पल को मुझे दो पर्याय है, या तो मैं मन की बात सुन के जीऊं, या तो भीतर की जो आवाज है उसको सुन के मैं जीऊं। किसको मैं सुनता हूं उस पर निर्भर है मेरे जीवन की खुशी, आनंद और सुख।
और कितने बार?
हाँ, वो भी सतत उसको प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ता है, और लोग अक्सर प्रैक्टिस छोड़ देते हैं ना एलवीएम, इस प्रैक्टिस। मगर आपने मुझे देखा होगा, हमारी शुरुआत में भी लोग कहते थे मेडिटेशन करो, जप करो, एक 2-3 दिन करते थे, फिर छोड़ देते थे, क्योंकि मन हमको वापस खींच के जाता था। उल्टा मन कन्विंस कर देता है कि तुम मूर्ख हो, क्यों सुबह 4 बजे उठ के बैठते हो, क्यों 5, मन कन्विंस कर देता है। तब मुझे मन से कहना है पागल, तू पागल है, मैं नहीं, मैं तो करूंगा ही, है ना, वो जो बात है।
So also a request to all our online audience, please share with us your experiences हमारे social media पे through our chat. What do you feel about living in the present and आपकी क्या practices हैं on this? Brother Elvim Kishore, we are talking of living in the present. Can you also describe to us what is not living in the present? Just to understand the flip side of it. उसका experience क्या है जो generally हमें ज़्यादा रहता है?
Because there's so many examples of not being in the present, but one of the most one that I personally, I think I'm a victim of, is 5 days a week from the red light nearest to my house, I take a left turn to go to office, and probably the next 2 days when I go to Sai Center or any of the Sai Gridis, I need to take a right turn. But invariably it so happens, ऐसा होता है कि जिस दिन मैं किसी फोन पे बात करते हुए निकल रहा हूँ, या माइंड में कुछ बैकग्राउंड में कुछ वॉइस चल रहा है, कुछ चल रहा है, तो उस रेड लाइट पे पहुंचने के बाद सीधा लेफ्ट मुड़ जाता हूँ. And then suddenly I realize that it's not Monday to Friday, it's a Saturday, Sunday, so let me take a right turn now. So those are very clear examples of things when we know that, yes, we are not in the right frame of mind. Or even more things, I don't know whether it happens with you, because that I'm calling a person, he doesn't pick up on the first 2 rings. And after 2-3 minutes, that person calls me back. And suddenly that whole thought is gone. Why was I calling him? The subject is gone. Because you suddenly have dispersed your thoughts into so many different ways कि वो बिल्कुल भूल गए, तो उसको बोलना पड़ता है, yeah, let me recollect what I was supposed to say to you and call you back. I mean, it's so embarrassing to say that sort of one in a professional or even a personal life, that you have called a person, you have thought about him, but ho jata hai. And then the last I can just say is a very funny example of a person who wakes up in the morning. This was a colleague of mine, and both of us were sharing rooms, and we both were coming back from Bombay to Delhi. And when we were emptying our trays, our bags and pockets at the security, he just realized that he had picked up the TV remote instead of his mobile from the hotel. So absent-mindedly sometimes we do. When he put the thing there, everybody was looking at it, at his tray. There was a TV remote instead of a mobile that was there. So I think so many examples I'm sure all of us have, where it just.
And what happens when you're living in the present? Iska flip experience. What's your experience like? Just share that with us. When you're in that moment, what do you feel? How does it?
Okay, let me give you one practice first. How do I try and live in present? And it's very important professionally also, that because the type of job, like Sir said, when he has to concentrate on a case, he has to ensure that his focus is entirely on the case and his mind doesn't go on to the various sides. I read somewhere that there is a 20-minute principle, no, where you just can bring your mind into a focus. I added 10% more. मैंने कहा मैं तो थोड़ा और नालायक हूं, तो मैं एक 10% और ऐड करके मेरे लिए 22 मिनट का प्रिंसिपल है. So I put a timer on my mobile for 22 minutes. I put my laptop down. I put my phone on silent. And then I take up a sheet of paper and a pen. And then say, जो भी मेरे पास सामने टास्क है या जो भी प्रोजेक्ट है जिसके बारे में मुझे सोचना है, डीप सोचना है, बिकॉज उसके सोल्यूशन पता लगाना है, उसको कुछ ऑप्शंस जनरेट करना है या उसके ऊपर कुछ ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करनी है. फॉर 22 मिनट्स आई एम trying to ensure that I don't have any other distraction and try to work on that. And I can tell you, this has helped me a lot professionally. Any new ideas or even Sai organization work or anything, new ideas or trying to solve a problem, it just helps to do that 22 minutes. Yeah, it may not be possible. It's just possible that wo first 22 minutes mein na aaye. After 6 months, after 1 or 2 days, you again take that same problem, sit for another 22 minutes. It works for me. 22 minutes is a good time that has worked for me. For somebody, it could be a 10 minutes. Of somebody, it could be 30 minutes. But take away all distractions. I think that is quite nice. That has helped for.
So, both of you have been long-standing members of the organization. Uncle is probably completing almost half a century in the organization. And just want from your practical experience in association with Swami, Parti Seva in the organization in your respective cities, and as office bearers of the organization. How over the last few decades, how have you seen a change coming in your own practice in this context of living in the present? And how has the organization's activity and organization as a platform enabled that change?
Because initially when I joined the organization, it was the gusto that seva, and I want to do seva for somebody else. I want to serve somebody else, which was not a wrong thing. It was the truth, but half the truth. It was not the full truth. Because the Sathya Sai Seva Organization, for any one of us who wants to benefit, who wants to take advantage of the platform called Sathya Sai Seva Organization, we must understand one thing, that this organizational platform is fundamentally meant for our own improvement. This is a very unique organization. It does not have the goal or the aim of improving the world or helping anybody else as a fact that I am doing something for somebody else. And therefore, I am a very strong opponent of the fact that when somebody says I am doing Swami's work, you and I can't do Swami's work, okay? Swami has given us the opportunity to practice and participate in the Sai organization to improve ourselves. And what is this improvement? And what is the platform? The platform has 3 wings. And I want to go back to the story of the mind. The whole spiritual wing is an opportunity, is a laboratory for all of us to learn how to reduce our thoughts and concentrate on minimum thoughts in the mind and conquer and see that we constantly build up the strength to focus on thoughts. Now you take bhajans, you take Nagar Sankirtan, both these activities, people think it's a pastime, it's a relief, it's like you are tense, so you go, fine, all that is correct. But essentially that 1 hour when you sit there, it's a practice to remove the number of thoughts that come to your mind and focus on one thought. The ability to focus on one thought is power, is energy. Swami used to always give an example of putting a lens in front of the sunlight. The moment the sun falls on the lens, it creates a beam, and that beam has a power which is unparalleled to do things which it has to do. Therefore, bhajans, Nagar Sankirtan have to be perceived as a sadhana to conquer your mind. Secondly, when you go to study circles, It is a study circle where good thoughts must pertain. Now I get a thought of going and slapping Vikas. Now I want to, in a study circle, I want to say why I would discuss. Why am I not getting good thoughts? Bad thoughts will remain. It's very difficult because the senses will bring you negativity. But the constant barrage of positivity will reduce the impact of the negativity. As Baba always says, good water in a tumbler of blood, dirty water, keep on pouring water out. Now take the Seva organization. Now you see, your life's quality improves when I and Vikas understand who we are. And Swami says that if I am capable of a power which is within myself, I want to recognize the same power in Vikas. That comes from Seva, where when I am doing service in the Sai organization, it is with a zero ego that I am doing something for somebody else. I am, as LVM mentioned, gratitude. It's the gratitude that I'm getting this opportunity to feel one and identify my inner energy with the energy of this gentleman, where there is a sense of unity. If you see the platform of the Sai organization, now it's very, see, one of the biggest problems with mind and which leads to depression is expectation. In our organization, when we do seva, we don't expect somebody to come and tell, oh, you did a damn good job, Vikas, well, lovely things. That's not the expectation here. In fact, nobody should know that Vikas did this job. And the more Vikas sits behind and enjoys the fact that nobody knows, increases the inner strength of Vikas as far as his own confidence is concerned. And that self-confidence is important, that I did my job correctly without waiting for the result or the expectation. Because if you say 90% today, because people are depressed and they are sad only because their expectations are not met, or they are waiting for approvals on somebody else. Now, both these things are not necessary to live life, because you are the master of your own destiny. Your destiny doesn't depend upon peer comparison. Psychologists will say a lot of things. Peer is important, peer approval is important. But there is an inner source, which is the difference of Indian culture, which teaches, apart from Western psychology, that if you embark and embed yourself from the power within, then your capacity to be self-confident and not depend upon others is very important. As Swami always say, don't mortgage your happiness to anybody else. Your happiness is your birthright. Therefore, take the Sai organization as a laboratory to practice how to conquer your mind. Every aspect. People say there's a lot of politics in the Sai organization. I say there is no politics. Politics is there for my good. It depends upon me. If Vikas is strategizing with LVM to throw me out, I am confident that it is neither Vikas's capability nor LVM's capacity to throw me out. If I go, I will only go because my life script is given that way. And I've done my best. Therefore, I'm doing my best not to ensure that I'm perpetually here in this situation. As an All India president, tomorrow, if I'm not an All India president, I have no issues, I have no qualms, because today when I'm the All India president, I'm doing my best and I'm happy in that moment. So answering the other question which you raised, how do you feel when you live in the moment? That's where the source of happiness is. When you live in the moment and do your best, that joy is inexplicable. It is inexplicable. It's a sense of satisfaction, because confidence will bring that satisfaction. And when there's self-satisfaction, then there is a capacity to self-sacrifice. And then there is self-realizing. So this satisfaction that in the given moment I've done my best and I offered it to my own self or my own situation, that's where the glory lies. Therefore, the organization is a great platform. We must involve ourselves in the organization with this goal that I want to conquer my mind. I don't want my mind to tell me things which are negative. On the contrary, I want to focus my mind with full energy to do what I have to do today.
So nicely put, Uncle. And just to summarize for my own self and for others, you really brought out this nice point of the feeling of bliss and happiness when you're in the current moment. And if we see our lives, whatever we are doing, in our jobs, earning, saving, spending, etc., ultimately we all say we do it for our own happiness, right? We go out somewhere, we even go for a restaurant, we are saying let's enjoy the food, right? But I think the key difference you're bringing out is that enjoyment is not outside. It's not in that food, it's not in the vacation you take, it's not in other relationships, but it's really internal. While our senses direct us to the external, it is all internal. And when we when we turn our minds to the internal, we start living in the present.
Just to give an example from personal life, I was on Mount Jungfrau in Switzerland. So when my wife and I were there, we were watching the snow on Mount Jungfrau, and I had a young couple next to me. Now, both of us must have spent a few lakhs of rupees to go to Mount Jungfrau, and the obvious the object was to be happy and to be nice. Now, what do I see when Kamala and I were on Mount Jungfrau and watching the beauty of the snow and nature and imagining the glory of Sai and all that? This couple standing next to me on Mount Jungfrau were not happy. Why? Because the wife had forgotten the camera in the hotel room. And there was a huge argument on Mount Jungfrau while everything was there. And they were not happy. Okay. So now what happened? Okay. This is a classic case to analyze that. Why is this? Was the joy in the snow of Mount Jungfrau? Was it the joy in the lakhs of rupees that you spent and went, and I could tell the whole world I went to Switzerland? No, it was in that moment. It was in the moment when nature created that, brought you in peace. And one more point, because I would bring again, and I'm sure LVM agree with me. The whole concept that I want to be happy, I want to have peace is wrong, because peace and happiness is inherent. On the contrary, I must learn how not to lose it. That's the whole question. Okay, life must teach us the skill how I do not lose my happiness and my joy, which is already with me. And the skill sets required are how not to lose. And that's where the mind comes in picture. It's very important.
But is it really that simple? I mean, this is
something not simple. Sachin Tendulkar did not become Bharat Ratna by simplicity. It was constant practice. Therefore, because when you have such a study circle in the Sai organization, there is a sense of consistency. There is a sense that I must do a practice which is done regularly over a period of time. That's where the trick lies. This sporadic sort of showcase sadhanas are not allowed. Okay, you can have, I've seen in the organization where people say, we're going to have 100-hour bhajans. Now, 100-hour bhajans has no meaning unless you concentrated on, your mind was focused on every bhajan in 100 hours. In 100 hours, for 99.9 hours, you were thinking of tea and who's singing and who's not singing and who's sitting in front, whether it was correct or not. So it's a waste of time. And then you say, I did 100 hours bhajan, but I'm not happy. Even God can't help us there. See, it's very simple.
So, Vikas, if I can just add my piece of this one, because I came from the corporate world when I finally took the dip in the organization. I found two things that are always differentiated. So I used to bring my corporate principles to the Sai organization. So which was, you have to do everything very fast. No, you have to showcase your work. Sir, you said you need not showcase your work, but probably that was the way we were there. No, and probably competition in some way. All those things that we used to do for almost 8 hours for our living also came with us into the organization, into the Sai organization probably. And if I may say so openly, then somewhere I just felt that probably it was not gelling out because his organization does not want these ones and does not have these ones. So for example, one of the things of speed was at the start of every meeting, people used to do omkars, 3 omkars. And in some meetings, they used to do 9 times Sai Gayatri. I used to think, boss, हमारे पास माने एक ही घंटा है, उसमें भी अगर आप 15 मिनट इन सब में डाल दोगे तो फिर काम कब करेंगे? No, but after many years, did I realize? I think those 3 omkars and those Sai Gayatris actually helped you to switch from your daily life which you have spent in certain fashion to this organization life, where the objectives and the goals are totally different. No, so for example, I just wrote for myself my notes where I was saying that Narayan Seva was feeding the poor, nothing for me.
Yeah.
Bhajans were for Bhagawan, nothing for me. LIG, Life is a Game program, which we do in Delhi, was for the college students, nothing for me. Even Balikas was for the students and nothing for me. It's only after you walk some steps and ruminate over what this organization wants and why this organization has been created by Swami, do you realize that I think Narayan Seva teaches me how the importance of serving with a smile. Absolutely. It is, bhajans is to lose oneself. Of course, you may say in the devotion of the Lord or in meditation or something. Bal Vikas is to look at life through the eyes of the young children, which many times we forget. I think we have, as knowledgeable people, we have made it very complicated. And lastly, if I have to agree on LIGP, which we actually carried forward for almost 8-10 years now, is that practice is more important than theory. And Swami also says 1 ounce of practice is better than a ton of theory. Because so that has been my journey, if I had to say so. And last time I say, sir, when I used to be in the hostel and walk towards a mandir, there was one quotation of Swami which used to be glaringly hitting us. That was head in the forest, and hands in the society. Rest many other quotations which were on that path from hostel to the mandir, I used to understand them. But this was one quotation which I could never place it in its fullest meaning. And probably only after 10-15 years in the organization did that full meaning of that statement of Swami, head in the forest and hands in society, actually dawned upon, which is actually like living in the present, but continue to do what you have to do without worrying about the results, and just do it for the sake of doing it. And every action that we do here, I remember I have a small practice again, because, and I can share it here, sir. After a few years, when Narayan Seva transformed itself as of a service to smile, I added one more element to it. At the end of it, I used to just close my eyes and say, Sai Ishwara Arpanamastu. Swami, whether good or bad, whether I've done it with the right intent, right devotion, right smile or not, but I'm also a pilgrim in this path. So whether good or bad, all are to you. No?
बट इसमें क्या होता है, जब आपने ये कहा कि हम स्वामी को समर्पण कर देते हैं, उसके बाद भी ज्यादा काम है. वो तो एक बात हो गई, क्योंकि वो अर्पण करने के बाद भी मन आपसे कहेगा कि ये गलत हुआ, ये ठीक नहीं था. ये तो मन सोचना बंद नहीं करता है ना उसके बाद में भी.
बिल्कुल.
जब आप मैं हमेशा करता हूँ, अक्सर मैंने देखा है कि लोग स्टेज पे खड़े होकर बात करते हैं कि सबके हृदय में वास करने वाले भगवान को मेरा नमस्कार. मुझे इस बात से बड़ा गुस्सा आता है, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि जो इंसान वो स्टेज पर बोल के ये बोलता है, उसको ये अनुभव नहीं है, उसने कभी सबके अंदर भगवान को देखा नहीं है. इसलिए उसका ये कहना कि सबके अंदर भगवान जो उसको मैं नमन करता हूं, वो कैसे कहते, वो झूठी है, हो ही नहीं सकता, कि उसको अनुभव ही नहीं है उसका. ये सिर्फ इसलिए बोलता है कि लोग उसको जाने के हाँ ये भगवान का बंदा है. एक बात ये. दूसरी बात जो आपने कहा, कॉर्पोरेट की बात जो कही, वो भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट. आज हम इंसान इतने अपने आप को अहंकार के रूप में देखे हैं कि यदि भगवान भी धरती पर आते हैं कुछ समझाने के लिए, तो हम भगवान को इंसान बनाने में तुले. भगवान चाहता है कि हम भगवान बने, तो वो तो छोड़िए, हम भगवान को कैसे इंसान में घुसेड़ दें वो देखते हैं. जैसे कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड की आपने बात करी, अब देखो यहाँ आध्यात्मिक की दुनिया है, तो जो भी आता है कॉर्पोरेट प्रिंसिपल्स यहाँ लगा देता है, ये सोच के कि भगवान को भी कॉर्पोरेट बना दो. ये आपकी बात नहीं, सबकी हमारी बात है. हम सब भगवान को हमारे जैसे बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं, और भगवान चाहते हैं कि हम उनके जैसे बने, है ना. और हम बड़े ही पर्याय से अपने तर्क और वितर्क से कॉम्प्रोमाइज करके भगवान की सच्ची 100% बात को कॉम्प्रोमाइज करके उन्हीं के नाम से गलत काम करके उन्हीं को दोष दे देते. ये जो हमारी एक क्षमता है, इस क्षमता को डिसबैंड करने के लिए सत्य सेवा संस्था है कि यहाँ आपको गालियां पड़ेंगी, यहाँ आपसे लोग डांटेंगे, आपकी मन की बात नहीं होगी, इसके बावजूद आप अपने अंदर के भगवान को याद करके ऐसा मौका और ऐसा वातावरण आपको कोई और दूसरी संस्था नहीं दे सकती. यहाँ तो भगवान खुद बचाता भी है ना. और जो एक मुझे याद आया किस्सा, मैं विकास से कहना चाहूंगा. विकास कह रहा था कि कैसे मन प्रेजेंट में कैसे नहीं रह सकते. विकास, मुझे बचपन में एक महमूद जो एक्टर हुआ करते थे, कॉमेडियन, उसकी फिल्म की मुझे याद आती. उसमें एक सीन था कि महमूद बस स्टॉप पे खड़े हैं और बस आई, और एक युवा जो बहन थी वो दौड़ के बस में चढ़ने की कोशिश करती है. तो यहाँ सीन ब्रेक होता है और महमूद का दिमाग चलना छोड़ता है. होता क्या है, सीन ये दिखाता है कि वो लड़की गिर गई, उसका पैर टूट गया तो हॉस्पिटल में गई तो उसके लोग आए, वो लंगड़ी हो गई, उसके मतलब ऐसे सीरीज विचारों की चली जाती है मन में, जो फिल्म दिखाता है. और जैसे वो सीरीज खत्म होती है, बैक टू बस, वो लड़की कूद के बस में चढ़ के बस चली जाती है और महमूद वहीं खड़ा है। ये आपके मन की परिस्थिति है, इतना सोचने पे मजबूर कर देती है कि गिवन मोमेंट में आप वहां हो ही नहीं, उसने देखा ही नहीं कि वो लड़की चढ़ के चली गई है, पर उसके मन उसको कितना दृश्य दिखा दिया। ये हम सबके साथ ही होता है। दिस माइंड इज द चैलेंज देयर, एंड देयरफॉर आई थिंक इट बॉइल्स डाउन टू बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग। और जैसे एक बात मैं और कहना चाहूंगा कि जब मैं पहली बार बाबा के पास गया था, तो बड़ा 30 मार खा अपने आप को समझता था, बंबई से गया था। तो पहली बात बाबा ने मुझे कह दी कि तुम कुछ प्लानिंग नहीं करो, तुम्हारा सब प्लान मैंने किया है। अब ये बात तो मेरे समझ में उस वक्त तो आई नहीं, मगर आज जब मैं इतने सालों के बाद देखता हूं, तो मुझे दो चीजों का एहसास होता है जो मैं सबसे शेयर करना चाहूंगा। वो ये है कि जब बाबा ने बोला मैंने सब प्लान किया है, तो ये एक प्रारब्ध है, इंसान का एक प्रारब्ध बनता है, उसमें आप इंटरफेयर नहीं करना। इसका मतलब ये कि प्रारब्ध में जो होना है, मगर बाबा ने कहा मैं तुम्हारे साथ हूं, आई एम योर फ्रेंड, आई विल टेक केयर। देयरफॉर दैट फ्रेंड इज नॉट बाबा द फिजिकल बॉडी, दैट फ्रेंड इज इनसाइड। हमारे जीवन में जो निर्धारित है वो तो होगा, मगर हमारा जो कर्म है, हमारा जो परिश्रम है, वो हर पल में हमें उस वक्त क्या एक प्रेरणा मिलती है उसके हिसाब से करना आवश्यक है। तो इसलिए बाबा कहते द प्रेजेंट कैन चेंज योर डेस्टिनी। इफ योर डेस्टिनी टुमारो इज समथिंग एल्स, बट इफ यू यूज योर प्रेजेंट मोमेंट करेक्टली, you have the capacity to change your destiny, and that is the beauty of living in the present.
Sure. So just to start wrapping up, a last question for you, Nimish sir, and then I'll just read out few questions online. बहुत सारे questions आ रहे हैं। भगवद गीता का एक श्लोक है, चैप्टर 4 श्लोका 18। Those who see action in inaction and inaction in action are truly wise amongst humans. Although performing all kinds of actions, they are yogis and masters of all their actions. इस पे निमिष सर, can you explain this to us?
तो मैं मेरे जीवन के उदाहरण से देता हूं कि बाबा हमेशा कहते थे कि जीवन एक स्टेज है और ये एक ड्रामा है। तो आप देखो कि यदि मुझे कोई रोल दिया गया है, तो उसकी स्क्रिप्ट और उसका डायरेक्टर कोई और है ना। तो डायरेक्टर ने जो भी रोल दिया है वो मुझे करना है और उसको बड़ी बखूबी से मुझे निभाना है। तो मेरा रोल पॉजिटिव हो, नेगेटिव हो, जो भी है, उसको मैं एक बड़ी शिद्दत से, बड़ी निष्ठा से उसको मुझे करना है। तो ये जो एक्शन इन एक्शन की बात है, वो ये है कि जब हम एक गिवन मोमेंट पे जो मेरा फर्ज है, उस ड्यूटी को मैं करता हूं, उस ड्यूटी को करके मैं उसको समर्पित कर देता हूं और उसके दूसरे ही क्षण जो दूसरा मेरा कर्म है उसको मैं कर लेता हूं। तो ये एक्शन जो है वो मुझे, जैसे एलवी भाई बता रहे थे, कि मैं एक समर्पित कर देता हूं कि दिस इज सरेंडर, दैट आई एम डूइंग दिस बिकॉज this is your script which is written for me. I am doing it and giving it. I am not claiming any ownership to this situation. It's a sense of doership and sense of ownership is very important. कर्म तो करना है। जैसे एक आपका और भी सवाल था कि जब मैं जैसे बूढ़ा होता जा रहा हूं, अब धीरे धीरे मेरा काम कम होगा, जब मेरे पास कुछ काम नहीं होगा तो मैं क्या करूंगा? मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है? नहीं, मुझे करना है। हर पल में कर्म तो करना है हर इंसान को, मगर उस कर्म को निष्ठा से करके समर्पित कर देना, उसको दूसरे क्षण पे कैरी फॉरवर्ड नहीं करना, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो ये जो पूरी जो गीता का जो संदेश है कि अल्टीमेटली करता धरता अंदर बैठा हुआ जो शक्ति है, जो ताकत है, वही करता है। समझा? जब आप इतने हद तक अपने आप को एहसास दिला देते हैं कि सब कुछ करता धरता भगवान है, जो हम हमारी सेवा के विंग में सीखते हैं। जब बाहरी दुनिया में ऐसा लगता है कि मैंने कुछ किया, मगर जब मुझे एहसास होता है कि नहीं, मैंने नहीं किया, मेरे जरिए किसी ने करवा लिया, जो ताकत ने करवा लिया, तब जाके ये जो कर्म अकर्म की जो बात है उसको ज्यादा समझ में हम ला सकते हैं। एंड आई थिंक दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज द एसेंस ऑफ कृष्णा's गीता इज वेरी सिंपल। बॉस, आई एम द डूअर। The sooner you recognize that I am doing it behind you, I am your Sarthi, you are just the front. But you do your front. You have to pick up the bow and show the arrow. But I will support you. I will take care of you. I will absorb everything that you are supposed to be doing, which is negative to you. And therefore, even the famous example when Krishna told Arjuna, get down first from the rath, I will get down outside. He gave so much tark इधर कायदा कानून समझा दिया अर्जुन ने कृष्णा को, बोलता मूर्ख हट जा, पहले उतर भीतर को समझा दूं कायदा कानून क्या है. तो ये जो बात है ना, वो समझना बहुत जरूरी है.
I'll just read out some questions from our online. I think some of them we've already covered. Gitanjali Singh is saying, can we say controlling the first thought is essence to mindfulness? Elvimbia, you'd refer to mindfulness.
Yeah.
Sanjay Agrawalji is asking, tension of future keeps disturbing us. Living continuously in the present becomes difficult. There's a similar question that can we really live in the present 24 hours a day? Or is it a practice for Rishi Munis and not, us living here? Then Mr. Vijay Prakash is asking, who needs to stay in the present? Is it the body, the mind, the Atma, the Buddhi, the Chitta, Ahamkara? Who needs to stay in the present? Then Satish Makkar is asking how to conquer negative thoughts, which we've discussed extensively on how Sathya Sai organization itself is a platform for practicing. And Sister Selvi is sharing a helpful tip that we should reflect on our actions at the end of the week. And I think this is a practice which Swami had also given us, that every day we should have a reflection session. And lastly, Ria, I'm just picking a few, there are hundreds of comments. माइंड को कैसे रोक सकते हैं ज्यादा सोचने से? So just laying this out for you, any last, we are very close to 8 o'clock, any last closing thoughts, some of which will answer these questions, some we've already taken.
So
माइंड को कैसे रोक सकते हैं सोचने से, उसका तो बहुत अच्छा उदाहरण भगवान ने दिया है.
हाँ जी.
कि भाई ये तो बंदर है, इसको जितना आप छोड़ोगे उतना वो कभी नहीं छूटेगा, वो तो दौड़ता ही रहेगा. इसलिए जो साधना का पथ दिया है, भगवान कहते हैं एक डंडे पे ऊपर नीचे जाने को कहो उसको, तो वो अपने आप संभल जाएगा और आपको परेशान नहीं करेगा. क्योंकि मैं रिया से कहना चाहूंगा कि जो भीतर की जो आवाज है, जो भीतर की प्रेरणा है, उसका जो बाधक है वो है मन. और जैसे ही मन को आप शांत करोगे तो अंदर की जो प्रेरणा है वो इतनी बुलंद है, इतनी ताकतवर है, इतनी खूबसूरत है कि वो आपकी जिंदगी का रुख और रवैया बदली हो सकता है. मगर उसमें ये बाधा को शांत करना बहुत जरूरी है. और यही प्रॉब्लम है. जैसे भगवान कहते हैं ना कि डीप डाउन अंडर द लेक द होल ब्यूटी इज देयर, बट द रिपल्स ऑफ द स्टोन रिफ्लेक्ट द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड. And what needs to be done is to go more and more deeper inside. It's an inward journey which brings you back. कबीर ने भी कहा था, दो पाटन के बीच में साबुत बचाना कोई. वो जो घंटी है जो कबीर की, उसमें जो दाना बीच वाले डंडे के करीब जो दाना रह जाता है वो कभी नहीं पिसता. जो डंडे के जो एक जो होल होता है उसमें डाला जाता है जब गेहूं, और वो जो बाहर की जब जाता है तो पिसता है. और जितने दाने बीच में रह जाते हैं वो कभी नहीं पिसते. तो ये पूरी जिंदगी के दौर में जो मन आपको बाहर ले जाए उसको बीच में भीतर की तरफ रखना ये बड़ा आवश्यक है. और ये साधना है. अगर आप कहोगे कि इसकी कोई टैबलेट है या तो कोई इंजेक्शन है या तो कोई वैक्सीन है, नहीं है. ये सतत आजीवन रोजाना तौर पे एक मक्कम विश्वास से और एक कमिटमेंट से इसको प्रैक्टिस करना है. और फिर आदत बन जाएगी. जैसे गाड़ी सीखते हैं, जैसे सचिन तेंदुलकर बैटिंग सीख गया, वो प्रैक्टिस है. फिर अचानक एक दिन ऐसा आता है जब बड़ी अनायास से वो बात आपके जहन में उतर जाती है और वह वैसे ही करते हो.
Because just as last, probably one shlok, one sentence of the Gita shlok, because comes to my mind, which says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. So only through practice and through detachment can you control your mind. Simple. I think like we do anything that we want to achieve in our lives, whether we want a better job, whether we want to go on a holiday, whether we want to buy a house, there are a lot of things that we do. But when it comes to controlling the mind, we just wait for one silver day or a very good sunrise and think that I'll control my mind today. No, it's not going to happen. ऐसा होगा ही नहीं. So practice, and what Krishna says is practice with detachment. I think that you'll have to experience. So any goal you have to achieve, whether in the external world or in the internal world, I think you will have to put your effort and passion. Effort and passion की कोई और चारा ही नहीं है.
सही बात. और जैसे एल्बम हम वो बचपन में एक कथा थी जो बाबा बताते थे कि एक ग्लास के जार में अंगूर अपनी मुट्ठी डाल दोगे और मुट्ठी छोड़ोगे ही नहीं तो मुट्ठी कहाँ से बाहर आएगी. छोड़ना तो पड़ेगा ना. जिंदगी में हर अनुभव को छोड़ के दूसरे अनुभव तक जाना ये इंपॉर्टेंट. किसी बात को पकड़ के रखा, किसी एक द्वेष को, राग को, इच्छा को, किसी कमजोरी को अगर पकड़ के ही रखा है तो आपको आगे बढ़ने ही नहीं देगा. उसको छोड़ना पड़ेगा. गिविंग अप इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. Therefore, Swami says, give more love because the more you give, the more you get. यहाँ क्या हो रहा है, हम पकड़ के रखें, मुझे चाहिए. किसी और के लिए करने की जो एक भाव है वो हमारी सत्साई सेवा संगठन आपको दे सकता है. किसी और के लिए निशार होना कुछ बहुत जरूरी.
Sure. So before we conclude, I'll request for Swami's discourse. Can we please have Swami's discourse for a few minutes?
పాస్ట్ ఈజ్ పాస్ట్, జరిగిపోయింది.
Past is past beyond recovery.
తిరిగి ఎంత ప్రయత్నం చేసినా అది ముందుకు రాదు.
In spite of all efforts, you cannot regain it.
ఫ్యూచర్ నీవు యోచన చేయకండి.
Future is uncertain.
కానీ ఫ్యూచర్ ఈజ్ నాట్ షూర్.
Future is not certain.
కానీ ప్రెజెంట్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్.
But present is very important.
దిస్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఆర్డినరీ ప్రెజెంట్.
This is not ordinary present.
ఆమ్ని ప్రెజెంట్.
This is omnipresent.
ఎందువల్ల?
Why?
ఈనాడు మానవుడు అనేక దుఃఖములకు, అశాంతికి గురి కావడానికి కారణం ఏమిటి?
What is the reason for the misery of mankind today?
ప్రెజెంట్ ను మర్చిపోతున్నాడు, పాస్ట్ ఫ్యూచర్ ను వెతుక్కుంటున్నాడు.
He has forgotten the present. He broods over the past and worried of the future.
ప్రెజెంట్ ఇప్పుడు మనకు ప్రధానం. కానీ
The present is important.
ఆకలేసినప్పుడు తట్టలో ఉన్నటువంటి అన్నాన్ని భుజించు.
When you are hungry, start eating the food served on the plate.
10 నెలల కిందట మా ఇంట్లో పండగ చేసిండ్రి. ఆ పండుగలో పంచపక్ష పరమాణములు ఉన్నాయి. దాన్ని తలుచుకొని ప్రయోజనం ఎందుకు?
What is the fun of thinking of a grand feast that you had enjoyed 10 months ago?
కనుక 10 దినముల ముందుగా జరిగిపోయినటువంటి నీవు యోచించొద్దు.
Don't think of the past.
ప్రెజెంట్ ఇది నీవు యోచించు.
Think of the present.
పాస్ట్ ట్రీ.
Past is a tree.
ఫ్యూచర్ ట్రీ.
Future is also a tree.
ప్రెజెంట్ ఇస్ సీడ్.
Present is the seed.
ఆ పాస్ట్ ట్రీ నుంచి ప్రెజెంట్ సీడ్ వచ్చింది.
Out of the past tree, you have the present seed.
ప్రెజెంట్ సీడ్ నుంచి ఫ్యూచర్ ట్రీ వస్తుంది.
Out of the present seed, you will have the future
కాబట్టి
tree.
సీడ్ ఈజ్ వెరీ 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 ఇంపార్టెంట్.
So seed is very, very important.
ఆ సీడ్ ప్రెజెంట్ లో మీరు తగినటువంటి శాంతిని పొందాలి.
Therefore, you should take care of the present seed and attain
ఫ్యూచర్
peace.
ఏమాత్రము మీరు తలంచకండి.
Don't be bothered with the future. Never be worried
ప్రెజెంట్ లో
of it.
మనం మంచిగా ఉంటే ఫ్యూచర్ ఆటోమేటిక్ గా మనకు మంచిదే వస్తుంది.
If you are good in the present, in future you will be good.
కనుకనే ఫ్యూచర్ నీవు యోచన చేసుకుంటూ పోవద్దు.
So don't be worried of the
నా
future.
ఫ్యూచర్ ఏమవుతుందో, నా ఫ్యూచర్ ఏమవుతుందో, నా ఫ్యూచర్ ఏమవుతుందో, ఇది ఒక సైకలాజికల్ గా నిజంగా దుఃఖమే ఏర్పడిపోతుంది.
People go on worrying. They are highly agitated. They are bothered of their future, what's going to
దీన్ని
happen.
చింతనే చేయకూడదు.
Don't bother about it.
ఎందుకు వరి చేయాలి?
Why should you worry?
వాట్ ఈస్ ది షేప్ ఆఫ్ వరి?
What is the shape of worry?
ఇట్ ఈస్ మెంటల్ క్రియేటెడ్ ఫియర్ ఓన్లీ.
Worry means mentally created fear only.
ఈ వైరీకి ఏమాత్రము రూపం లేదు.
Worry has no form.
నీవు క్రియేట్ చేసుకుంటున్నావు.
It is only your creation.
కాబట్టి అలాంటి యొక్క దీనికి నీవు అవకాశం ఇవ్వకూడదు.
Never give scope for such worry.
ఈ విధంగా ఉంటుండి ఎప్పుడు చూసినా కూడాను ఆనందంగా ఉంటుండండి.
Be happy all the time.
Rest in my love. Let all that you've been through in your many lives up to this day melt away in my redeeming light. Children of my being, dissolve your sorrows and fears in me. Let me efface all your karma. You're now my radiant, glorious self, no longer separate from me. Melt with me, merge with me, become me. With these divine words of Swami resonating in our hearts, we conclude today's session. A heartfelt thank you to our esteemed speakers, Shri Nimish Pandya ji and Shri LVM Kishore ji, for their insightful thoughts, and to our moderator, Shri Vikas Bagri ji, for leading such a meaningful discussion. To all who joined us today, Your presence and participation made this study circle truly special. We invite you to continue this journey with us in the next session of Life is a Challenge, Meet It, which will take place on the 23rd of March. And for this session, we are blessed to have Brother S. Ravikumar, one of the most revered and popular voices from the Prashanti Bhajan group, and Brother Amey Deshpande, a passionate educationist, member of the Prashanti Bhajan group, and a speaker par excellence. Both of whom will share their insights on Swami's teachings and their personal experiences of living in the present. Let us now conclude this session with the Shanti Mantra. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా, ది బెస్ట్ వే టు లవ్ గాడ్ ఈజ్ టు లవ్ ఆల్, సర్వ్ ఆల్. మనం అందరినీ ప్రేమించాలి, అందరినీ సేవించాలి. మనం సేవించడం కోసమని పుట్టాము. ఈ సర్వీసులో మనం ప్రయాణమైనప్పుడే మానవత్వం అనేటువంటిది సార్థకమవుతుంది.
Sathya Sai Seva